We are before an extremism that not only embraces the region, our churches, communities, and the societies, but in a sense, the whole world. It threatens the very survival of Christianity in the Middle East. Therefore, if we fail to take collective and swift action to contain and stop its onslaught, the Middle East will be transformed into a haven for radicalism, fundamentalism, and other isms of far-reaching consequences. We must commit ourselves to a common and long-term effort. Extremism cannot be defeated only by military action. A comprehensive and coherent short-term and long-term global strategy must include political, economic, diplomatic, and military action. As patriarchs and representatives of the churches in the region, we are not here only to lament our suffering, to describe the situation that we are facing in the region, or to highlight the concerns and problems of our people. But we are here to seek together the most efficient ways and means by which we can combat together extremism and save Christianity in the Middle East. Therefore, I believe that we have to go beyond reacting. We have to become more proactive. We have to go beyond describing the situation and try to see with a forward-looking vision what plan of action can we together develop in order to strengthen the centuries-old presence of Christianity in the Middle East. Therefore, within this context and with this perspective in mind, I would like to share with you briefly 6 points. 1, democratization is crucial for the future of Christianity in the Middle East. Let's face it, regime change should not be considered as the ultimate goal of democracy. If elimination of poverty, restoration of justice, and respecting of human rights do not follow regime change, then it becomes simply cosmetic and counterproductive. In order to avoid violence and radicalization, democratization must emanate from within, not be imposed from without. It requires education and awareness building. It also entails an accurate and comprehensive grasp of concrete realities of the region and a deep analysis of the region's strengths and vulnerabilities and a carefully planned strategy. The Christian communities in the Middle East are caught between autocracy and extremism. We must advocate for a model of society that respects fundamental human rights and protects ethnic and religious diversities. Our commitment goes for a democratic, participatory and just society with inclusive governance. Indeed, democracy can become a bulwark against extremism. It may also ensure the future of Christianity in the Middle East and lead the whole region to a better future. Number 2, Christians are integral and inseparable parts of the societies of the Middle East. The autocratic regimes that preceded the Arab Spring, like the Ottomans under the Millet system, considered the Christian communities as minorities with limited internal freedom. Although Christians played a significant part in promoting Arab nationalism, they were never considered as equal citizens in the region with equal rights and obligations. Christians have never and will never accept to live as second-class citizens in the Arab world. They are deeply rooted in the history of the Middle East and refuse to be marginalized and be considered simply as minorities living on the periphery of the society life. Number 3, pluralism will ensure a peaceful coexistence of communities. By promoting pluralism, we may combat extremism and help building peaceful cohabitation and a coherent integration of all segments of society. Extremism rejects all forms of pluralism, and by doing so, violates the right of people to be different, to preserve their specificities, while coexisting with others in mutual respect and acceptance. Only democracy can protect pluralism, and in turn, only pluralism can safeguard the Christian presence in the Middle East. Hence, pluralism must be promoted. Religious, political, ethnic, and cultural diversity must be respected, and equal obligations and the rights of all people as co-citizens, irrespective of their religious, confessional, cultural identities, must be protected and constitutionally guaranteed. Number 4, cohabitation among monotheistic religions is imperative for the future of the Middle East. The 3 monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, share common roots, common traditions, and common values. They have a common history characterized by both conflict and peaceful coexistence. The common concerns that these religions face in the Middle East should drive their partnership and collaboration on issues of common concern. Because religion in the region has such a strong impact, close collaboration among monotheistic religions can help to transform the societies in the right direction. Reshaping the Middle East is a common responsibility. Actors of civil society, particularly religions, must be partners in combating this global danger in order to build a culture of life that promotes peace with justice and the quality of life sustained by moral and spiritual values. Number 5, the continuous support of diaspora communities is indispensable. The churches of the Middle East must not be left alone. We are mother churches in the Middle East, and we are in dire need of support of our diaspora communities. The diaspora is a critical asset. Its human, economic, and political potential must be effectively channeled towards the mother churches of the Middle East. Our diaspora communities, therefore, can play a tremendous role by supporting and enhancing and strengthening the Christian presence in the Middle East. Finally, number 6. Comprehensive and consistent policy towards the Middle East is an urgent necessity. Although Western governments have reacted with a firm unanimity to the terror of extremists in Iraq, the reaction of the Western media and politicians to the plight of Christians has been weak. Humanitarian aid has been forthcoming, but Christians are not looking for humanitarian aid. They are seeking humanitarian action to save the Christianity in the Middle East. For the Western powers to truly help, they must act not only where and when their vital interests are at stake, but where and when basic human rights and values are ignored and violated. The policy of the West towards the Middle East, which seems to waver between engagement and disengagement, has failed to grasp the complexities and interconnectedness and inner layers of regional realities. The West must shift from reactive to proactive, from crisis management to crisis prevention policy. In fact, crisis prevention is easier, less costly, and more effective than crisis management. The Western powers must develop a policy towards the Middle East which is comprehensive and consistent, contextual and holistic, which is based on accurate assessment of the realities of the region, and which reconcile the strategic interest with basic human rights and values. Indeed, the future of the Middle East and the Christian communities will be ensured when its states and societies are built on plurality, equality, and liberty. And finally, dear friends, Christianity is on the verge of disappearing from the Middle East, where for centuries it has existed in harmony with Judaism and Islam. The people of the world should realize that the end of Christianity in this region would be a terrible blow for the future of the whole region. It would mean that intolerant ideologies and terrorism will prevail. And the Christians of the Middle East, in their turn, must realize that there is no future for Christianity in this region except in partnership and in close collaboration among monotheistic religions to face together common concerns and challenges facing our region.